Hey, good morning, East Texas. I'm CBS19 Meteorologist Joel Robinson. Thank you so much for joining us today on this Tuesday morning. We are talking about lots of heat. We have a weather impact alert day in place, not only for today, but for the rest of this work week. The weather impact alert goes all the way till Friday because we are still going to be dealing with the heat all the way until then. And then we'll be introducing some slightly cooler air into the forecast as we go into this weekend. We are currently streaming live on our CBS 19 Plus streaming app as well as YouTube and Facebook. So thank you everybody so much for joining me this morning. We're just going to break down your forecast and what you can expect for today and for the next several days here. So as mentioned before, we do have a weather impact alert in place for today. That it goes until 8 p.m. this afternoon and evening, and that's going to be for heat illness. The heat, which could lead to heat illness, that's going to be the impact if you are not careful. Definitely heat stroke and heat exhaustion is going to be a possible issue if you are not careful enough. So what you'll definitely need is some water. Stay hydrated as best as you can. Definitely take some frequent breaks and get into an air-conditioned room as frequent as possible. This is definitely not just your ordinary Texas heat. This is a little bit more dangerous than that, so definitely make sure you are taking precaution out there. Heat advisories in effect for much of East Texas. Basically, if you live along US 69 and you live eastward, that's where you'll find some of the hottest temperatures, or hottest feels like temperatures, that is, for the longest time. The threshold, once again, for a heat advisory is at least 105-degree feels like temperatures for at least 3 hours. And so that's where you're going to find that heat advisory issued for East Texas, for specifically central parts and eastern parts of East Texas. And again, that expires at 8 p.m. this evening. So definitely want to make sure you are being careful out there. Here is a look at some of the numbers out there for this afternoon. 106 potentially for Henderson, 103 for Nacogdoches, 103 for Center. We got a lot of 103s, and the highest we're seeing right now is 106 possible and 105 for even Crockett, and they're not even in the heat advisory area. So there are going to be some hotter spots locally, even if you are not within that heat advisory. So definitely just stay advised. All across the board, feeling like the upper 90s, a lot of us feeling like the triple digits, and even if you're not in that heat advisory, certainly make sure you are taking precautions out there. Now, we still have this heat dome overhead. That's an area of high pressure in our middle to upper levels. So that's around 20 to 30,000 feet up into the air, and that is trapping a bunch of heat just below it. And as long as this stays around, we're going to stay very hot for the next several days here, and that's not really going to be moving. It's just such a big scale weather pattern here. It's not really moving all that much. It really needs assistance from the jet stream aloft to really kind of get it to move out of the way. But as far as right now, we're just going to be seeing this for the next several days here, and we're just going to be dealing with a lot of heat. Thankfully, there's going to be a little bit of wind. There's some wind out there that's actually keeping us a little bit at bay today. If you step out the door, you're seeing that southerly breeze of around 5 to 15 miles per hour in some locations, so that's helping things out just a little bit. But still, you want to make sure you are taking precautions out there, even with that breeze in sight. Now, with this heat and humidity, because there's so much humidity in the air, it makes it a lot harder to sweat. So basically what happens is the air can only hold so much water vapor. And the cooling factor from your sweat is when your sweat evaporates into the air, and if the air can't hold any more water vapor, you can't get that cooling effect. You can't get that evaporation of the moisture on your body into the air, and so you can't cool quite as efficiently. So in these kind of conditions, it's very, very hard for your body to just stay cool. That's why we really advise you to just limit that outdoor time if you can, and certainly just stay hydrated. And just make sure you take frequent breaks for sure if you're outside. And working very strenuously can be very dangerous for long periods of time if you are working outside. So certainly make sure you are being careful out there. We're going to hang on to this breeze, luckily, all the way through the end of this week. That's going to provide just a little bit of relief during the heat of the day before we drop down into the lighter category. But thankfully by then we'll be at Saturday. We'll be in Saturday and that's when we'll start to introduce some rain chances. We'll start to introduce some more moisture, thicker clouds, those thicker puffy cumulus clouds that'll scatter the sunlight around, and it won't keep us, it'll keep us a little bit cooler. It won't be quite as hot as what we've been seeing so far this week. So that'll be some good news there. But in the meantime, we're still going to be dry all the way through Friday. We have Saturday and Sunday at 20% chances of rain, and even into Monday as well. I think most of it is going to be pretty much cloud cover, at least more cloud cover than we've seen. It's been very, very sunny. So that has a lot for things to really warm up nicely, but because of the additional moisture that'll be moving into the area as we head into this weekend, we will be seeing at least more clouds and maybe an occasional passing shower as well. So that's kind of what we're watching for this weekend. We'll only have highs in the middle 90s rather than the upper 90s, which is not much different, but still it's definitely an upgrade. And it'll kind of keep us a little bit cooler thanks to that kind of blanket of clouds. It won't be a complete overcast by any means. It'll be just more of those puffy heat of the day cumulus clouds that just kind of keep us a little bit cooler for the day. For low temperatures tonight, still going to be on the warm side. We got 77, 75, 76, even 78 in some locations. Still going to be on the warm side. We'll have clear skies overhead and that breeze still holding on. So if you're out maybe early tomorrow morning, you'll still have that breeze kicking in. It'll still feel pretty warm, pretty toasty, but you'll have that breeze that'll kind of help things out a little bit. So as mentioned before, we're weather impact alert all the way through Friday. And as we get to Saturday though, again, we have a little bit more moisture from a tropical wave that we are tracking. It's entering the Gulf at this time. But we're watching that really closely to eventually make its way into Louisiana and East Texas. It's kind of the same scenario that we kind of saw last weekend. I don't think it'll be as impressive as last weekend. I think maybe a couple of us could see a few passing showers. That's at least what the expectation is right now. But at the very least, we moved from a mostly sunny pattern down to a partly cloudy, or up to a partly cloudy pattern, depending on how you kind of see it. We moved to a more partly cloudy sky pattern, which will keep our temperatures a little bit cooler. So you have 95, 94. Our average this time of year is actually 95 degrees. So surprisingly, we're right around average for this time of year. It's just the humidity that's really giving us some issues there with the heat. So that's where things kind of differ a little bit. But as for our daytime air temperatures, we're still around average for this time of year. But again, it's that humidity that we really have to watch for here. So once again, weather impact alert all the way through Friday as those temperatures approach 96 to potentially even 98 degrees. There is some data that suggests a little bit hotter in some locations. I think that might be a little bit overdone, especially because we're not really seeing too much change in this air mass that we're in right now, especially with how large scale this high pressure is. I mean, you can see just this large scale heat dome that we've been tracking over the past several days that extends all the way up into northern Missouri and even into Illinois. There's actually some extreme heat watches in effect for Illinois all the way up to Chicago. There are several extreme heat warnings. There are heat advisories, all in effect, basically all underneath this area of high pressure. And we kind of saw the same thing, I believe it was earlier this month, maybe last month. But it was the same scenario. This is not too out of the ordinary. We get these ridges of high pressure every summer, and it's all due to how weak the jet stream is in the summertime. So with that being said, you'll allow a lot more hotter air into the area because the jet stream is way further north in the summertime. So that allows for a lot more hot air. So this is not too out of the ordinary, but it is giving us a lot of heat, a little bit on the dangerous side of heat, that's for sure. But it's affecting a pretty decent part of the country and is also affecting East Texas as well. So while this is here, definitely make sure to stay cautious and be careful, drink water. That's the biggest thing, and limit that time outdoors as well. Once this moves out, We have a few rain chances that we'll watch for, but that tropical wave is currently, it's kind of over Florida right now. It's kind of trekking its way to the west, and eventually that will make a turn to the north, and we'll see a couple of showers, and if not, just an increase in cloud cover that will kind of keep our temperatures down a little bit. So again, that's what we're tracking. We'll take one more look at the 7-day forecast real quick, and then we'll end this live stream off, and we'll have some additional information for you on the noon show. So again, weather impact alert. You could call this a weather impact alert week, because we maintain these high temperatures because of that area of high pressure, that heat dome that we saw for the next several days. We call this a heat wave for sure. If it's above average for at least 3 days, that's a heat wave. So we have above average temperatures for the next several days here, so that's a heat wave. And then we move back to average to below average, so that's why we have allowed that weather impact alert to expire. So that's what we're tracking. In the meantime, definitely make sure to stay cool. We'll have some updated information in the coming days, especially in regards to the tropical wave going into Saturday. But in the meantime, stay safe, stay cool, drink lots of water, and we'll have some updated information for you this coming week, and we'll keep you updated on the noon show. So hope to see you there. Stay safe, everybody, and have a great day.